This video is sponsored by Noregon, the commercial vehicle data experts. Visit Noregon.com to learn more.
So I've been going through the resumes for the service data analyst position, and it's a lot. The interview process is always time consuming, but if I'm being honest, I don't really understand this new generation. I mean, they've been through a lot, but all this stuff with the remote work and the Great Resignation, and there's a Chick-fil-A in California paying $16.50 an hour. How do I compete with that? On top of that, I've gotten a lot of resumes sent to me as TikToks, and I had to Google what a TikTok was. I've even been ghosted on a Zoom interview. What's with these people not showing up to a Zoom meeting? Or whatever, they call it ghosting, I don't know. But I showed up.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Anyway, I'm gonna keep plugging away at it, but in the meantime, I have a plan B. Hi everyone, welcome to FE's Data Center, the series that makes truck data approachable. I'm Jason, and today we're talking about remote diagnostics. Remote diagnostic systems are now offered in some form by all major truck and engine OEMs, as well as third-party providers. These systems collect diagnostic data on the truck's performance and status and automatically send fault codes and warnings to service managers. Actionable is the operative word for remote diagnostic systems. The goal is to make sure fleets and drivers know there's a problem before it becomes serious or cuts into the fleet's uptime. Today's remote diagnostic systems indicate fault code severity levels and allow for more informed decisions about whether a truck is inoperable and a service event should be started immediately. Similarly, they can point to whether service is needed as soon as possible or if it can wait to a PM interval. For fleets with a mix of telematics systems, most service recommendations are the same, but each manufacturer will know what should be done about a fault code independent of the telematics provider, and many providers use a color-coded system to illustrate fault code severity levels. For example, Noregon's JPRO utilizes red, yellow, and green indicators, while the asset management application TripVision adds an orange severity level. For even more insight on this topic, let's connect with our Noregon Pro. Special treat, we have Jason Hedman, Noregon JPRO Product Manager, here with us. Jason, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the data center. This is fantastic. I appreciate you coming.
In person.
In person. This is wild.
Okay.
So we're talking remote diagnostics. Can you give us some tips for how we can best set up alerts so that we can get the right fault information we need from our remote diagnostics, but not be overwhelmed with notifications?
Well, that's the problem, right?
That's right.
That's the issue is you got to make sure that you are aiming at the correct audience, right? Is it a driver? Are you aiming it as a technician? Are you aiming it at the driver manager? The last thing you want to do is create a bunch of false positives.
Right.
In all the research we've done and with the applications, that's the number one complaint that we get from the users is you gave me too much noise, and then what happens is they start ignoring the messages that they get.
Right.
And that's the most important thing you can do.
Right. No, I love that audience too. I think that's something we haven't talked about, because if I'm the fleet manager, I'm looking at it down here, but if I'm the technician, I'm looking at this one right here, and I need to know this information.
Yeah, and if you get nothing but a bunch of notifications that there's this problem on the vehicle, eventually they just go, well, nose blind to it, right? They just ignore it.
Right. Do you categorize your fault codes by like severity? How do you make sure those
you gotta,
get
that's
to the right one?
That's audience based, right? Mm-hmm. If you're talking to the fleet manager, safety is important, right? If you're talking to the guy in the shop, it's what's going to break down. And right now we're at a point in the industry where there's a lot of convergence of it. Mm-hmm. Safety issues are shutting the truck down in much the same way that a diagnostic breakdown is happening on a truck, and to the user, the driver, it's the same thing, right? Right. The safety system says, hey, I'm not safe, and it's saying derate, right? Well, that's what the user, the driver sees. Right. Guy in the shop sees it the same way.
Right. I know.
And those are the kinds of the things we've got to overcome in the industry with these types of applications is right information to the right user. Make sure the stuff that they get is actionable to them and meaningful to them, and it doesn't create a bunch of noise. Lots of information. We've talked about that before, how much the heavy trucks talk. It's just non-stop data coming through, and there's a lot of noise to look through.
Right. No, and I love the point about filtering that information. I mean, you mentioned the driver. We talked about the ADAS complications and D-rate situations there too. But to your point, all they see is a light on the dash, and they don't know what it means. Do they need that information, or do they just need to know what to do? Right. The fleet manager, I need to see the severity of it. The technician needs the information.
Well,
for
it's both, right? It's both. The driver needs to know what to do. Do I pull? If it's not forcing him to pull over,
right.
Do I pull over? Can I drive 5 miles? The driver manager, same thing. If he's talking to the driver,
right.
Do you drive 5 miles? Can you drive 5 miles? If you're stuck in a thoroughfare where there's concrete walls on both sides of you, and you're trapped, you're in D-rate, you're in shutdown,
right.
and you've got other trucks and cars going by you at 65 miles an hour, it's a safety issue. What can you do? Can I crank the truck up and just get limp down the road and get safe?
Right. So when you want to make sure your platform of choice allows you to kind of customize those alerts to different people within your organization so that you're all on the same page and get what you need.
Absolutely, and finding that sweet spot is hard. We can advise, we got to let them pick out and adjust it, right? One person described it as a slider scale. Who's the user, and let them to make the decision. We'll give them the best case scenarios, the best information we can, and let them kind of slide the scale. Do I want to look at the safety side? Do I want to look at the breakdown side? There's a lot more to it than that. I'm looking at it from the diagnostics portion of it myself.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a great point, because you should work with your trusted suppliers to set this. You're not alone in doing this. I don't have to just make it up. That's why I bring you in to give me the answers and tell me what I need to do when I tell you this is important to me, right? Work with your suppliers. Yep. Thanks for coming in. I know you're busy. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
All right, man. Thanks.
That's all the time we have today. Tune in next time where we talk about root cause analysis. Thanks for watching.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Hi, you're here. Good. Well, for the interview, right? The senior data analyst thing.
Yep, that's me.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. Well, this is wonderful. It's great to talk with you.
It's great to talk with you, too.
Now, you're Teresa? Is it Teresa, is it?
I go by Tess.
Oh, okay, great. Well, good to meet you. Let's get started.